Here is why you need an educational aspect of your business. Even if you are one of the people who's watching this video right now thinking, Richard, I know that you have an educational program. I'm not gonna call it a course because I literally don't have a course. I have a mentorship program. It's very different, right? You may think that is salesperson bajazz, but it's not. It's true, right? So I think you should have an educational aspect of your business as well. I don't know what you do. I don't even know if you have a business. Maybe education might end up being your first business. It wasn't my first business. I felt like I had to earn my stripes a little bit, which loads of people do, which is fine. And there's some people who don't do that. But I think you should have an educational aspect to your business. You may be watching this right now thinking, Richard, I already hate you. I already think that because you charge money for information, you should burn and die in a house fire, right? And if that's the case, you're probably gonna dislike me more by the end of this video. But I honestly think that education is one of the most rewarding, is definitely scalable. There are some caveats to all of this, by the way. Most rewarding, scalable, and I just personally enjoy it quite a lot. That's me just being honest. Like, I love doing education stuff. I love doing events. I love chatting to people. I find that kind of stuff interesting, right? So it is what it is. Now, some things to understand. I have operated a couple of different businesses. I have consulted many businesses, some of which I've been like a shareholder in, so I've had an actual real financial interest outside of being paid to do so. So I've got, for my age, I'm 27 just now, I'm turning 28 next month. I've got a reasonable amount of experience in different industries and different types of businesses. By no way am I going to call myself a blanket business expert, I'm not, but I've got a lot of experience in a lot of different things. I can say with confidence that education is the hardest business model I've ever done, right? Now, do I think, and that might just put you off straight away, close the video, see you later. It is the hardest that I've ever done. This is the problem with how people approach education, right? If you are wanting to add an educational aspect to your business, whether you are a plumber, electrician, financial advisor, there's ways that you can sell the information that you have. You can sell your experience, your mistakes, all that kind of stuff, either as an online program, an in-person program, an event, a one-to-one coaching service, a consultancy service. There's ways for you to sell that info. Now, here's where loads of people get it wrong. People have a business and they are making some good money in the business. Hey, let's forget why they even end up in a position where they've not got as much money as they did previously, right? But they end up not making as much money, or they want or need to make more money in a reasonably short time frame. What people default to, because they're stupid, is they think, yeah, we actually have this business where, you know, I don't know what you do, we're a fitness business and we own a gym and we need to make, you know, 100K in the next 3 months for whatever reason. None of my business anyway. We need 100K the next 3 months. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll do that stuff that idiots like Richard Dixon and Paul McFadden and I'm trying to think of friends, Sam KB Trading and John Pemberthy. And I'll do what these idiots do, and I'll start a course or I'll start an educational service, because if those idiots can do it, if those fools can do it and make £1 billion a month, then I must be able to do it, because education's so easy. Because this is the comments you get all the time. Oh, you shut up, you just sell courses. Or shut up, you just have an educational service. Oh, I'm not listening to you because no, it doesn't count as real business. It's the hardest business I've ever ran, right? So you need to think about your approach to doing this. If you have, you know, you're scaling your organization, you have some time, or you want to do something else that maybe has a little bit more purpose, is more fulfilling. That's what I get from education. Maybe you won't get that, but I do. And that many of my contemporaries, my peers do as well. So if that's what you're looking to do, awesome. If you're in a position thinking, oh shit, I really need to make money, let me do education in a course. You're gonna end up mis-selling, you're gonna pressure sell people, all the things you just shouldn't do as an educational company, which sadly, loads of places still do. I can only speak about our own process. I can't talk on behalf of other people, but if you're approaching this for the right reasons, not because you want to make quick money, because you think education is easy, it's going to solve all your problems, it's not. It's going to take up more time, more energy, more effort, more emotion than probably any business you've ever done previously. I'm not really selling that this well just now, and I'm glad, because I want this to be for specific people. Now, if you think about all the experience that you have, let's say by the way, even if you've only been in an industry for like a couple of years, let's say you've been in an industry for 3 years, and you've had an above average result, and also in that period of time, you've made some mistakes. This is like a kind of framework that I like to use to build an offer in my head, an educational offer. So 3 years of experience, you'll know what that's in, right? That's totally up to you. You've had above average earnings. Well, what is that? If you know the industry average for an employee for what you do is like 35k a year, and you can look and you see, oh, well, I have made, 3 times that as a self-employed person, or 4 times that. Let's say you've made like 120k, right? Even if that's only revenue, you still get taxed on your 30k, right? So it's not that dissimilar. 120k per year instead of 30, and there's a bunch of mistakes you made. List out these mistakes and how much you think they're worth. Oh, well, I've done that thing and I messed it up, which lost me 40 grand and this, that, the next thing. So you've got every year 100k worth of mistakes, right? So if you, essentially, if we frame this simply, if you could show someone, give someone a roadmap that you've used, never guarantee this because people will get varying results. Just because you got a result doesn't mean you can guarantee it for other people, right? But if you give someone a roadmap that's been responsible for 4xing, I made that an X at the same time, 4xing the average earnings in that industry, and also saving them mistakes that could tally up to the cost of 100k of lost revenue. So realistically, they could make more than 4x, they could make 6 or 7x, because you're saving them from doing that. What would you think that's worth, right? Well, if I could give a framework that could guarantee, and we're not, I'm just making this point, if I could give you a framework that was guaranteed to make, 200k a year, right? If I could literally guarantee you 200k a year, how much would I charge for that? I would probably charge, I don't know, maybe 500,000, right? Because the way I see it is people buy businesses that, have a track record of making profits, and what they pay for the business, they won't get, that won't be paid for by 8 years, 10 years, right? By the time they actually recoup their investment, because that's what it is, it's an investment. So if I knew I could make someone 200k a year and I was trying to just flip it quick, I would sell that for 500k, because in 2.5 years, the cost of that would be paid off and they could run with it. But that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is what's called fractionalized learning, because it fractionalizes the risk for us, because we're not literally involved with these people. We teach them stuff, we give them support, we mentor them, and hopefully they're able to go and get great results. Some people might just not do it. You believe it or not, people turn up to training programs with me, they've invested money in, they'll learn all the stuff, they'll leave super happy, and I never hear from them again, and they never use any of the stuff. Right? We call them, we try and get them to do stuff, they don't answer. This does happen, it's rare, but it happens, right? So this is fractionalized learning, because also the guarantee is fractionalized. We can't guarantee it, right? So it de-risks us, and I guess it de-risks them in a sense. You wouldn't call it up-risking because it's not risky. So what would you charge for that? Well, you could still realistically say, 50k, 60k, it's not terrible. Even if you decided to do it as an online program, that you recorded all this stuff out, stuck it on the landing page and sold it, nice and simple, you could charge what, maybe to make it super cheap, no-brainer, you could charge £2,000 for that, right? So if you added, 20, 30 people to this a year, you're adding 50% onto your revenue, right? For making it once. And it's not the same as if you're manufacturing something in your business, you constantly need to manufacture it, to have it, to sell it, and stock issues and all that. You make this once, you have the page, and then you sell it forever, right? And what you need to think about is you're selling benefits to people, because at the end of the day, if they want to go and learn those mistakes themselves for out of pride reasons or whatever it may be, then be my guest. That's one of the things that I've always loved the most about being mentored by other people. It's not always about the stuff that I learn in terms of the education, the skills, the tools, whatever it may be. Oftentimes it can actually be that the biggest benefit is just not making mistakes that they've made. When they turn around and they say, oh, by the way, and I done this thing and I messed it up and it lost me £50,000, and I then don't have to go and learn that mistake. You will still make mistakes even if you go and do it. I've made plenty of mistakes, but I'm burping up my Popeyes from earlier on. I've avoided a lot of mistakes as well. So just paying for that alone is great, right? Now here's a couple of things to keep in mind, right? What you want to do is under promise, right? Because when you underpromise, it opens you to the opportunity of seriously over-delivering. So we underpromise and we over-deliver, right? What we also want to think about is premium pricing, right? You might end up in a position like most new educators that when you start a service, let's say you go, oh, maybe my training or my program, it's only worth like £1,000 or $1,000, like you totally undervalue it. And then when you sell it at that, you feel so indebted to people for investing in that program that you basically speak to them one-to-one for like $1,000, right? I do one-to-one coaching with maybe 7 or 8 people a year, specific to like digital marketing, scaling the businesses through that. It's not £1,000. It's not £1,000 a month. It's not £2,000 a month, right? We're gonna tell you exactly what it is because you might know someone who's paid for it, and we get insane results, by the way, ridiculous, but it's not cheap, it's expensive, and it's hard, it's really difficult, right? It's like military for digital marketing. You want to go premium pricing, the last thing you want to do is have like 30 or 40 people on $1,000 a month, or $1,000 one-time payment, sorry, that they can message you anytime, you message them back and all that. You need to have clear boundaries, right? People are paying for access to a course. Maybe you want to bolt on a Discord channel or like a Telegram group or something like that where people can communicate. Potentially you want to just do this the simplest way possible, which is hosting everything in school, right? You kind of hardly even need a landing page anymore. You can take payments through there, funnel it through your social media. It's the cheapest, easiest way to get started on this, and the school group will cost you $99 a month to host this stuff. Really, really simple, right? So we want to underpromise, we want premium pricing, and even though school's technically not related to them in any way, we want school as well, because I love school, I've got stuff hosted on school. By the way, I spent £25,000 on a fully custom educational website and course website that is nowhere near as good as school. You live and you learn, guys. You live and you learn. So I think you should add an educational aspect into your business, and you should always go for high ticket. High ticket is anything like $2,000, $3,000 and above, right? Now, often you're gonna find you can't sell that just like, you can, but it's gonna be harder selling that direct to a checkout, just like a video and then a checkout for like £3,000. People aren't always going to buy that. You're probably going to want to do booked calls. So, you know, you have like a little Calendly set up or something like that you can speak to people and you onboard them. If I was you as a new educator, first month doing it, I would have a really simple aim, super simple aim, to get one person inside your program, inside your first month. Just one person. Regardless of how you're doing that. If you already have social media, maybe you've been documenting your journey about your business so far, or maybe you haven't, then it's time to start. If you put out there, you know, and start teasing the fact that you're maybe going to be educating some people or working with a select amount of people in your industry or whatever it may be, then that's going to be a really cool opportunity for loads of people that follow you online who are maybe in the same industry, who already know you and go, oh wow, like David's the guy who everyone knows gets this much money because he was able to do this and he was able to do that, and he's exactly who I would love to be like, so that's why I'm going to go and do his training, right? Now, one thing that I would do if I was you is a dynamic launch, right? It's the last thing I'm going to show you guys, is do a dynamic launch. Pick a day somewhere inside of the next 8 weeks. From today, by the way, from when you're watching this, you're starting today with 0, 8 weeks. 8 weeks is enough time for you to record, edit, upload, create a school group, right? So 8 weeks, you pick a date. Now we start promoting. So we're gonna have like an early registered email list to get legacy pricing or preferred pricing, because ultimately any money we spend on recording, or you might not, you could literally probably record this on your phone, edit it on iMovie, right? It's not gonna be the hardest thing in the world. It doesn't need to be like pure cinema quality. Any money you spend here, like £1,000, £2,000 maybe, getting this all set up and all done, ready to sell it permanently, right? All this time here, maybe you're running a little bit of ads, a couple of £1,000 getting involved in this. Within those 8 weeks, you should be able to sell pre-launch spots that cover all your costs, right? And it gives you an indication if you end up with, 500 people on a mailing list and you're gonna run them straight to the checkout, you're gonna run them direct to a book call, go and use a system like Perplexity AI or something like that. Ask you some questions on average open rates, average purchase rates, do a back calculation to figure out what you should be aiming for, right? So you can look and go, oh, okay, well, if I have 500 in a list and my average open rate is gonna be 10%, that's 50, my click-through rate is potentially gonna be 5, then hopefully if I hit them with enough emails throughout that month, I should get somewhere in the region of 10 booked calls. Out of those 10 booked calls, if I sell averagely, I should get 3 conversions from that, 3 times my new product has got legacy pricing of, well, you want to do legacy pricing on a pre-purchase, like pre-launch. Let's say the normal price is like $2,000 or just £2,000, whatever. You can estimate that you're going to make somewhere in the region of 6K that month, right? If you put that time into it. It's so rewarding, guys, working with people and getting them results and helping them grow the business and seeing how that changes people. Because I don't know about you, depending on what industry you go into, for me, I get to see people's home lives be changed, kids go to private school, new cars get purchased, houses get upgraded. I can see loads and loads of cool stuff get to happen through the business that I do, and that's much more rewarding than when I was an electrician. It's more rewarding than most of the consultancy I've done in my life. It's more rewarding than running a property business, all things that I've done. Honestly, education is the best, but it is the hardest. Do not consider education if you're looking for a quick buck. It is absolutely not going to be for you. Only consider education if you're really willing to give people a service that's going to get them results. That doesn't mean you need to answer them all the time and reply to them 24/7. They can phone you at 2 in the morning and you basically have a noose around your neck employed by the person. But if you can make a high quality program, that if we go back to that original thing where we're talking about experience, lessons, how much lessons can cost you, how much the experience can help make them, then it's a no-brainer. If they can see that you have a track record of making X amount of money, well, what X amount of money would they be willing to spend to get a similar result, or potentially get a similar result? It's probably going to be a few £1,000s or a few $1,000s anyway. And that's why you should get involved in education, because you've got skills, you've got things that you know, you've got experiences, you've got mistakes, you've got lessons, you've got systems, and you've got strategies that could help other people. So don't be stingy with that information. Put it out there in the world and benefit other people's businesses. If you like this video, click down below, subscribe, like, comment. If you thought it was crap, tell me. I'm probably not going to reply anyway, but it'd be interesting to know, and I'll catch you guys all very soon.